درود بر شما. به سمینار زنان و ازدواج قسمت اول توسط خانم دکتر آزیتا سایان توجه بفرمایید. قسمت دوم دوشنبه هفته آینده 21 جون ساعت 1:30 بعد از ظهر از رادیو KIRN پخش خواهد شد. همچنین این سمینار رو میتونید از وبسایت و یا اپلیکیشن Embrace Growth تهیه بفرمایید.
Over 30 years ago, as you know, psychology was not what it is today, yes? It was not very popular. You didn't go home and say, Mom, Dad, guess what? I think I'm going to go study psychology. Well, that is what I did. And the reaction in my house was utter grief. Like I had just come home and tell them I'm pregnant. Actually, if I was pregnant and it was the right guy, it may have been okay. Psychology was not. My father, God bless his soul, said, well, I won't pay for it. Yes? And this is very, very difficult for a Hamadani father to say to a daughter who is an honor student that he won't pay for my education because, as you may know or not know, Hamadanis are very interested in education, yes? It's a very big thing to us. So when my father said, I won't pay for your education, I decided to go ahead with it anyway. Because what I was looking at was that there was a future happening in the world where people wanted to know about what makes human beings be the way that they are. At the time, I was very confused about one subject and one subject alone. Do you want to guess what that was? Sex was part of it, but I was really confused by men. Yes? I had no idea why men couldn't be more like us. I couldn't figure them out. I just thought, why can't they be sensitive and emotional and considerate and understanding and less horny? Yeah? Right? Right? I just couldn't figure them out. That they were so fascinated by our bodies. Made me crazy, especially in my late 20s, in my late teens. Yes? So I really couldn't figure men out. And I was baffled by them. I liked them, and yet they scared me to death. How many women here relate? Right? Men are really fascinating, and then they can be really confusing and scary. Yes? Right. So I spent most of my 20s being very confused, even though I was studying psychology. And whatever I was studying in school wasn't working on men, right? It was working on my patients who were not well. But on the men that I was dating, it wasn't working. And then I realized that what I was doing was all wrong. I was looking at men from the perspective that we are the same and equal. Because I'm from the generation of women's freedom and independence and equality. So whatever they can do, I can do, right? And I was really going at relationships that way. And then I had a wake-up call at one of these seminars, like this, from a psychologist named Dr. Pat Allen. Back 20 years ago, she was the person to go see in LA for relationships. She really revolutionized American thinking about relationships between men and women. She's a really awesome lady. And I had a wake-up call sitting where you're sitting, where I realized that men and women are really very, very, very different. What are they? Different, yes? In fact, they're not only just different, they are opposite. What are they? Opposite, yes? We're very different from each other. In fact, we're opposite. So if you take one thing out of tonight, it may be whatever sex that you are, if you do the opposite with the other person, it'll all work out. Because they're just the opposite. That was the beginning of my inquiry into how men are. And then when I started studying that, I realized that I know just as little about women. And I became even more interested in studying relationships between men and women. And the rest is history. I've been doing individual therapy for men and women for the past 20 years here in Los Angeles. Before that, I was in New York where I did my master's at NYU. And before that, I was in Boston, where I was working for the Department of Children's Services. And since then, I have developed programs and workshops for women, exclusively for women, women-only workshops. And then after that, I developed another workshop called Advanced Women Workshop, because the first workshop we did, women told me that they wanted to keep going, that they wanted to really learn more. And then Gregory has developed a workshop for men called Honor, Integrity, and Mastery. I've written several books, one of them exclusively for women, although, surprise, surprise, men buy them and read them to find out what I tell women, right? And then they give it to their girlfriend or their wife. Here, it's good, you read it. Called Girl Talk. Girl Talk was actually written first in English. And it is really good, sound, practical knowledge and information about how to be in a relationship with a man. Everything from dating, sex, and marriage. So there will be things that I will say here tonight that you will find in that book, and there will be things that I will say here tonight that will not be in that book. There's also other things that I'll be mentioning that will be in the CD called 12 Stages of Romantic Relationship, done also in English. So let's talk about women. In order to understand women in relationships, we have to understand human beings in relationships. And one of the things to understand about human beings is that human beings actually come with two parts, body and soul. Thank you. Yes. Another way to say it is that human being actually comes in two parts, the human animal and the human spirit. The human animal and the human spirit. Good? So the human animal carries all of our instincts, and it is millions of years old. It is found in the reptilian brain, which is right around here, okay? And it gets all of its information, and it's all instinct, and it's on automatic. You don't have to think about what you do. To give you an example of how men and women are opposite to each other. Imagine a man and a woman on a date. Now, some of you will really relate to this, and it'll be funny for you. So here's how a man is on a date. He calls you up, I'll be there at 7:30, yes? So at 7:30, if he's punctual, all he's thinking about is, get to her house, get to her house, get to her house, get to her house, pick her up, pick her up, pick her up, be on time, do it right, be dressed. Why? Because man, the human animal in man, is single focused. What is it? Single focused, yes? The human animal in a man is single focused. So what he's doing is he's focused on the one thing he has to do. Get to her house, get to her house, get to her house, yes? Be on time, be on time, be on time, yes? So it's only focused on that. So then you open the door, and here's the single focus. Hi, let's go. Because what is he thinking at that moment is, get to the restaurant on time, get to the restaurant on time, get to the restaurant on time, right? And and here's what the woman is thinking. Now let's go to the woman, right? How do I look? How do I feel? What is he going to think about me? Is he going to like me? What are we going to talk about? Right? We are, the human animal in a woman has no focus. The giggling over there is letting you know that we're on the right track. So the human animal in a woman has no focus. It isn't that we focus on many different things, it's that we're not focused at all. We are what's called diffuse attention. Women have their attention on a lot of things, and they're really not focused on anything. So we are kind of floating, yes? So we sit in the car, and we want to make conversations with you. And you are thinking, get to the restaurant, get to the restaurant, get to the restaurant, get to the restaurant. And she's trying to talk. Now, how many men here, you've gotten lost once or twice on a date trying to get to a restaurant, you actually knew where it was because she's talking? Yes? Yeah, it happens. And how many women here, you're thinking the guy doesn't like me because he can't really talk to you and drive the car at the same time? Right? Because what happens is that they're focused on the one thing. Then they get to the restaurant and they're thinking, get a table, get a table, get a table, get a table, right? Then you sit down and they're thinking, order the food, order the food, order the food. Now, how you know he has stopped being focused on all those tasks and now he's focused on you is then he'll turn around to you and he'll say something like, that color looks good on you. Right? Because why? Because now he's focused on what? You. And you're like, oh, he's here. Right? Because it feels good to be the focus of a man's attention. Right? So how we go on dates is not the same. Now here's another thing to know about men and women. Women don't date. Men date. If we get to a red light at the same time as you get to a red light, we think you should take our number down because we're in a relationship with you. Because we got there at the same time you did. You see, we get into relationships. That's why if we go out with you one time and then you don't call us the next day, we think you're being rude. If you want to break up with us, you should call us at least and break up. See? Right? You agree? Right? So men and women are very different. We don't date. That's why women have a hard time going out with a few men at the same time, because we think we're cheating on you. Because you might be upset if we're going out with somebody else at the same time. And it has to do with the fact that we don't want you to do that. So let's say a woman starts going out with a man. So now we're going to talk about women and marriage, yes? A woman starts going out with a man. Something really funny happens to women when they start dating a man. Some of the men here will notice. She will be amazing. She will be wonderful. She will be magical. She will be full of smiles. She'll be enchanting. She will be lovable and adorable. And then something begins to happen right around 2.5 months after you have started dating. You will never see this woman again if you don't do this right. What happens around 2.5 months, which by the way, around 3 months, does anybody know what happens in nature to human beings in 3 months? If a woman is pregnant, right about 3 months, the human fetus begins to actually take shape, yes? It is what science has called the beginning of the human being, actually, yes? It's the first 3 months. Now, people argue about that. However, right around 3 months, a woman begins to think this thought. Where is this going? Yes? Now, this is all unbeknownst to the man who's thinking, everything's what? Great! And here's the difference between us. Time for women is limited, yes, because we have a certain number of eggs that are on time, yes, to mature. And time for a woman is always running out. We're in a hurry, yes? Gotta get to those eggs before they all mature, yes? And women, do you relate? Yes? We're always in a race with time. And if it's not the eggs, it's the cellulite. It's one thing or the other. We're chasing after time. And we're always thinking we're wasting time. If you talk to one, we're always wasting time. We're always afraid of what? Wasting time. Right? Now, time for men is forever. Forever. Are they ever going to run out of sperm? No. Is there any limit to sperm? Never. Right? Plenty. All the time. Until they're 70. Yes? God bless them. right? So if a woman spends 3 months in a relationship and it's not going anywhere, what does she think? Waste of time, right? And if a man is in a relationship for 3 months and it's not going anywhere or it doesn't go anywhere, yeah, next, right? Like, okay, that was nice. Got to experience that, yes? So about 3 months, something like this happens on the date. She will say something like this. So, we've been going out for 3 months now. Right? Doesn't mean anything to a guy. It's like, oh yeah. Oh, yeah, it was about Nowruz or, you know. Yeah. That was when we went out. Yeah, my mom was in Iran. Wow. We had a good time that night, huh? Went dancing. Right? Now, she comes home and her family's like, did you talk to him? She says, I think he has commitment phobia. I brought it up. He totally avoided the subject. I think he's not interested. I think he is wasting my time, right? And sometimes they break up with you and you don't even know why they broke up with you, yes? And you don't know what even happened. 3 months. You wasted her time. She didn't even tell you why she's leaving. She thinks you're not interested. So, 2 things. One is men can't read our mind. So if you want to know where he's at with the relationship, what you do at 3 months is you say something like, you know, we've been dating for 3 months and I've been wondering where you're at with our relationship. I'm interested in continuing, getting to know you, and being exclusive. Where are you at? There's nothing wrong with a woman mentioning that. For the men, if you really want for her to instantly be gaga about you, what there is to say is, you better know when it's 3 months and you take her on a nice date and you say, you know, it's been about 3 months we've been going out and I've really enjoyed myself with you, and I'm thinking I'd like to become girlfriend, boyfriend, or let you know that I'm really thinking about having a future with you. Would it be okay with you if we take this relationship to the next level? There is a chance you will get to see the woman you saw for the 3 months ongoing after that. Right? She'll be even happier to be with you. Because she's now what? She's now secure with you. Because for us, as women, time is limited. And so we don't want to waste our time.
شما به سمینار زنان و ازدواج قسمت اول توسط خانم دکتر آزیتا سایان گوش دادید. قسمت دوم دوشنبه هفته آینده 21 جون ساعت 1:30 بعد از ظهر از رادیو KIRN پخش خواهد شد. این سمینار رو می توانید از وبسایت و یا اپلیکیشن امبریس گروت تهیه بفرمایید.